Humans have always wanted to know what other people are thinking. We see this desire everywhere, from ancient Greek oracles deciphering the gods to telepaths in modern comic books. Long before clinical psychology or brain imaging existed, theatrical performers figured out how to simulate this feat on stage. They relied heavily on a practice called cold reading. This is a technique where a performer makes highly probable guesses about a stranger, based entirely on their clothing, age, physical appearance, and unconscious mannerisms. By combining cold reading with directed suggestion and misdirection, mentalists convinced entire auditoriums they possessed actual supernatural abilities. A performer could dramatically bend a spoon, directing the audience's attention entirely to the physical object, while masking the psychological manipulation happening in the room. The most successful practitioners were the first to admit there was no magic involved. Joseph Dunninger, a renowned mentalist who exposed fraudulent mediums, stated clearly that his acts were the result of decades of psychological experience. Mentalism worked because humans are desperate for connection and meaning, but these performers were only reading the room. Actual mind reading remained impossible, blocked by the thick bone of the human skull. To get past theatrical tricks, early behavioral scientists tried to map our internal thoughts by observing the outside of the human body. Popular media often suggests that a specific facial twitch, a pursed lip, or a furrowed brow acts as a biological lie detector. Clinical research shows these physical microexpressions only reveal that a person is experiencing psychological discomfort, stress, or anxiety. They cannot tell you the actual content of a concealed thought. Analyzing behavior simply turns a human observer into an issue detector. We can tell something is wrong, but extracting the raw truth requires abandoning the face entirely and looking directly at the brain. The critical leap from merely observing human behavior to intercepting raw electrical data arrived with the brain-computer interface. We started intercepting these signals nearly a century ago. Hans Berger pioneered the electroencephalogram, or EEG, becoming the first to successfully record human brain activity. His early tests required patients to sit completely still while wired to large-scale machines that captured basic rhythmic electrical waves. Today, non-invasive EEGs use wearable scalp sensors to detect motor imagery, the specific brainwaves generated when you imagine moving a limb. This allows users to control computer cursors or fly drones simply by thinking about the action. While EEGs effectively translate basic intent, the electrical signal diffuses and blurs as it passes through the skull. Capturing high-fidelity thought requires physical penetration. Invasive brain-computer interfaces bypass the bone entirely. Using an endovascular approach, surgeons thread a stent through the bloodstream to the motor cortex. For sharper resolution, microelectrode arrays penetrate the gray matter itself, with tiny spikes intercepting the exact electrical sparks firing from individual neurons. By decoding this raw neural activity, researchers have successfully synthesized speech for paralyzed patients, allowing them to communicate at 78 words per minute using only their thoughts. Translating raw electrical data into real-time spoken sentences moves mind reading out of the realm of theatrical illusion and into quantifiable engineering. For decades, Neurotechnology focused entirely on restoring lost medical function. Now, major technology entrepreneurs are pushing to bring these interfaces into the consumer market. This animated diagram tracks a continuous data stream from a passive BCI, a consumer system monitoring mental workload and fatigue in the background. Because this data flows continuously, virtual environments can instantly adapt based on your unspoken cognitive state. Accessing the brain directly introduces severe ethical risks. If a device can read your fatigue or emotional reactions, the threat of brain hacking becomes real, stripping away the last layer of human privacy. The rapid commercialization of this neurotechnology threatens to permanently erase the biological boundary that separates humans from the machines we use. For thousands of years, the human skull offered a private sanctuary for our thoughts. We are now engineering the tools to leave that door wide open.